they are arguably Meru's finest leaders.
But in a twist, their respective career paths have firmly set them on a collision path.
In a one-on-one interview, Kiraitu Murungi told MThey's Jane Ngoiri why he believes he will prevail over his former ally, Governor Peter Munya.
You are among Kenyans who fought for the second liberation of this country with the likes of James Orengo. And those who you are with say you're now a changed man, a sycophant of the system. What happened to Kiraitu, the pro-reform crusader?
You don't engage in a struggle for the sake of a struggle. I think we have a regime, we have opened up political space, and time has come for us now to consolidate democracy. You can't be in the streets forever.
Talk to us about the transition from activism to the center of political power. You rose to become one of Kibaki's most powerful ministers. You're actually part of the kitchen cabinet.
I think it's Gigi Kariuki. Sorry, he's gone. He's a man you should have listened to, talking about illusions of power. When you're busy, maybe as a spanner boy for the government, you're too busy doing, things, putting out fires and this kind of thing. You don't even think of yourselves as powerful. But there are things I went out to do, and I thought I was doing the right thing. Like that radical surgery of the judiciary. I know people blame me for it and all that. But over about 20 years, we had been complaining about corruption in the judiciary.
Talking of corruption, your name was adversely mentioned. You attempted to cover the Anglo-Leasing scandal.
You see what Ambassador Mudawar was taken through during the Hague trials. That was what Kiraitu Murungi was taken through during Anglo-Leasing. I was perceived to be this very powerful person. And one way of destroying me was painting me as corrupt. I was investigated for 9 months. I was cleared of all the charges. But years after I was even cleared, people still talk about Kiraitu Murungi and Anglo-Leasing. I've decided to move on. I remember one time I asked a bishop who said I should be prayed for because of Triton scandal. I asked the bishop, now, Bishop, you're in Nairobi. Supposing some sufurias are stolen in your own church, somewhere in the village, can we say the bishop has stolen the sufurias just because they were stolen in your church? And he said no. Then I told him, don't pray for me.
Let's shift focus to the scramble for Meru governor's seat. It is said that you went against the unwritten rule that supposes that you go for the Senate seat and not for the governor. Why did you defy that pact?
It would have been a very unfair agreement if it was there, because it would have been an agreement between the Tiganias and the MTheys, where the Yembe people, in that agreement, that power goes to Tigania for 10 years, goes to Imenti for 10 years. The people of Yembe also arrange ethnic group in Meru. How would they benefit from such an agreement? So there was no such agreement. And indeed, there's the constitution of this country. And there's no agreement which can violate the constitution. The constitution gives you a position for 5 years. You cannot have an agreement giving you a position for more than 5 years. After 5 years, all these seats go back to the people.
And what informed the decision to vie for the governor's seat from the Senate?
Actually, I supported our current governor with all my heart, with all my soul. And I put in a lot of resources, personal resources, for him to be the governor of Meru. But there were certain promises, there were certain expectations that indeed we coming under the label making Meru great. Now the governor has been a terrible disappointment. They accused me of the one who got the tortoise, which was lying under the tree, and they put it on the top of the tree. And now they say the tortoise has become arrogant. It has become a thief. The tortoise has done many shameful things. So the Meru community has come to me to ask me to go to the tree again with their support and bring the tortoise down to the bottom of the tree. So all that arrogance that you hear in Meru today, all those commands that you hear, they are going to end in August, when we slaughter the goat.
So what will you do differently? What will be your agenda?
Munya has a very old-fashioned, outdated leadership style. What you saw in Kamuzu Mbanda, Mobutu Sese Seko in the 70s, where you have this big man politics, one man who knows everything, all powerful, and leading a command top-down system. I want to dismantle that. Our governor has held very many investment conferences, both in Meru, in Nairobi, has traveled abroad. But over 4 years, not a single investor has arrived in Meru. I want to change that story.
In the past few weeks, we've witnessed violence in Meru County, and there's been a lot of accusation between yourself and your opponent. He's actually accused you of organizing disruption of his rallies.
I think the governor should be asked, to remove the log from his own eye before he can see the speck in his opponent's eye. Who doesn't know that the governor of Meru is the author, is the mastermind of all the political violence that you see in Meru? Munya is trying to use violence to block me from accessing the votes in Meru North. And since I know that, I've been able to find other ways of looking for votes there. I don't have to have huge rallies and marches, but I'm going to win, even in Meru North.
And talking of winning, opinion polls suggest that you will lose to Munya.
Watch this space, right? Kiraitu Murungi is your next governor. We are going to put InfoTrack to shame, and I'm ready to bet with you.
And as you seek to dethrone the incumbent, you have faced hostility. In Igembe Central, you were shouted down at when you tried to tell the locals not to support NASA. Do you believe or do you think NASA is gaining popularity in Meru County?
I don't think there's NASA in Meru. The result will show. We expect 99% of the vote for Uhuru Kenyatta in Meru.
But don't you think the ground is shifting? Because recently the president was in Meru and you also attended one of the rallies with him, and the locals actually booed you.
I've been there about 2 weeks trying to study who these locals were. They were actually not from Maua. These locals were hired by one of the candidates, and they followed us from Raleigh. They followed us to Mutuate because they had been hired to boo me. They were meant to create an impression before the president that Kiraitu Murungi is not popular in that area. It was a local leader who was trying to show that, since I am unpopular in the area, the president should be dealing with that person and not with me. So that was the game which was being played. Just watch out the number of votes I'm going to get in Maua. And I'm even going to have rallies there. And you see there'll be no bullying.
Many things have been said about Kiraitu Murungi. Are you a project for Deputy President William Ruto?
I'm a project, not of anybody else. I'm a project of God who created me. I'm a project of my parents who gave me birth. And I'm a project of the people of Meru who have been electing me over the years, so that I can serve them. Don't forget, I first came to Parliament campaigning for Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, when the whole region then was for Mwai Kibaki, and I won. I've been my own man in my politics. I don't need William Ruto for me to win in Meru, but William Ruto is my friend, and I've been saying he should be elected as president in 2022. Why? Our people are criticized as being selfish. I've said Governor Peter Munya is not a serious candidate. Other people have tried this route before, but the man is so obsessed, he is so engrossed in himself that he's not able to see the reality, around him. So when we say we do not see the presidency coming to Meru after Uhuru Kenyatta, he thinks we are against him. But we are just telling our brother, please be realistic.
As we finish, there's been the issue of age. You've been there, you fought for the second liberation. Now 2017, don't you think it's time to call it a day in politics?
Raila Odinga was there. He's 71 years old. Why has Governor Peter Munya not asked Raila Odinga to go home because he's old? I'm 65. Where does the argument come from? Where is the constitutional limit about age of a governor or age of a senator?
What if Kiraitu Murungi doesn't win? What next for you?
There's no next for me because I'm winning. I've never lost an election. I say I'm not as foolish as I look. Yes.